Protests in St. Petersburg, despite a crackdown on anyone speaking out against Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Hundreds of people have been arrested in Russia's capital city, where citizens boldly waved Ukrainian flags. In Moscow, an equally heavy police presence, with activists taken away to await their fate under the country's legal system. Similar scenes in Yekaterinburg too. Thousands have been arrested across Russia in an effort to silence dissenting opinion, and the Kremlin is intensifying its disinformation campaign on media companies. 2 outlets critical of the war have been shuttered, one a radio station, the other a TV station called Doj.
My message to the people of Russia, if they're even able to hear it, as the Kremlin cracks down even harder on media outlets reporting the truth, my message is that we know many of you want no part of this war.
Mr. Putin's war has also forced big tech companies to decide how to handle state-controlled media outlets.
The tech platforms right now are really doing a delicate dance in terms of, I think it's important for them to stay operational in Russia, as it's one of the few tools that Russian activists can use that is not controlled by state media.
On March 2nd, Russia targeted Kyiv's TV tower, killing 5 people. The Russian Defense Ministry claims it housed Ukrainian spies conducting psychological warfare.
In order to prevent informational attacks on Russia, precision weapons attacked the technological facilities of the Ukrainian Security Service and the 72nd Center of Psychological Operations in Kyiv.
A lie, says Mr. Blinken, going on to say that Russia is targeting residential areas.
Russian strikes in Kyiv struck the capital's main television and radio tower and destroyed part of the Babi Yar Holocaust Memorial. Apartment buildings outside of Kyiv were hit, partially collapsed.
The State Department is countering Russian disinformation by getting senior officials to appear on Russian TV stations. It's an approach that some allies are skeptical of.
The stuff that RT is peddling at the moment is doing a lot of damage to the truth.
On March 2nd, the European Union banned RT, or Russia Today, as well as Sputnik, with immediate effect. Meta, Google, YouTube and TikTok are also blocking access to the media outlets across the EU's 27 countries. Twitter is also following suit. But is this the right approach? None of the US-owned tech companies have responded with an outright ban in Russia, instead offering more modest changes, such as limiting the Kremlin's reach, labeling more of its content, and prohibiting Russian state media from making money off ads.
They are trying to both stand up to the country, but also not go so far that Putin just pulls the plug totally on them being available.
But some critics want the tech giants to go further, cutting off Mr. Putin's reach, not just in Russia, but here in the US too. And it's a similar picture in the UK.
Russia Today is his personal propaganda tool. I can see no reason why it should be allowed to continue to broadcast in this country. So will the Prime Minister now ask Ofcom to review its licence?
Ofcom is the UK's communications regulator, and to Mr. Johnson's credit, his answer summed up how banning Russian media may have unintended consequences.
Is that we live in a democracy, Mr. Speaker, and we live in a country that believes in free speech. And I think it's important that we should leave it up to Ofcom rather than to politicians to decide which media organisations to ban. That's what Russia does.